Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi 4 tutorial. So in this video we're going to be looking at how you can extend your functionality of your modules. So by what I mean by that is if you've got some modules that you want to animate or create a cool effect, we're going to go through that, but we're also going to go through laying out a full width row. We've had a few people ask us how we can create a full width row but still have the featured modules that are available in standard width rows. As you know, if you do a full width row, you are only limited to the full width modules. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to create a full width row with standard modules, and then we're going to use the standard modules and we're going to animate them. So the first thing I want to do is wanted to show you the page that we've built. It's our standard test page, and as you can see here, all I've got is a bit of text. I've got an image. Now the text sort of has a bit of animation on, but the main bit of animation that I wanted to show you is on our blurb modules further down. So this brings in it's almost like a lazy load effect but for the modules, and I'm using a zoom animation. So if I scroll down, you'll see what I mean. If you keep an eye on the bottom of the screen, as the modules load, you'll see the animation effects. So as you can see here, each of these modules came in succession, one row at a time. It gives you it's almost like the lazy load for images, but we're doing it with effects. So let's have a look at the actual standard page that we were using. What I've done here is I've got a row of 3 and I've just duplicated it, but as you can see here, the effects are the same effects that I created in a previous video. If you want to find out how to do that mouse over effect, then check out our YouTube channel. So let's go back and show you what the page actually looked like. So this is the home page and these are the modules here, and all I've done is I've taken these top 3 modules, put it into a row and extended the row and then added some animation to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to go through the build process of how I did that and how we created this animation. Now, one thing that you will notice, if I shrink this down, if you look at the height of the modules themselves, they all remain in the same row. Again, I've created a previous video on how to equalize your modules in a row, so check that out and that will show you how to do that. So as you can see, when you've got varying lengths of text in your module, when you go down to tablet or mobile phone mode, the height will change and it looks a little bit untidy. So in a previous video what I've done is to show you how to do that, and if you can look at how we progress down, all of these modules remain exactly in line even as they go down to tablet mode. Right, so let's get started. So what we've got here is we've got a standard row that's been extended, and then we've created this nice little grid effect with the white lines between the modules, and we've also animated all of those to give it the lazy load effect. So I'm just going to refresh that again, and then I'm going to scroll down so you can see the effect of that as the modules load. There we go. So we're going to show you how to do that today. So the first thing that we want to do is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the page in Visual Builder mode, and then we're going to scroll down, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new section, regular section, and I am going to use 3 width. I'm going to cancel out of that because I don't need it, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use each of these blurb modules. So I'm going to duplicate that, bring that over and pop it in here, and I'm going to duplicate that and I'm going to bring that in here, and I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm going to put that in here. Not sure what's happened here. Seems to have increased somewhat, so let's drag that back in there. There we go. So we've got our three modules in our row. The next thing, or the first thing that we want to do, is we want to duplicate those, or we don't necessarily need to, but actually let's show you a quicker way of doing it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to extend the row. So we go into our row settings, into our design, into our sizing, and we're going to say we're going to use a custom gutter width, and we're going to have that set to 1. We're going to equalize the column heights. Again, I'm going to show you how we can do that, and then to change the width of the row, we set the width to be 100%, but we're also going to set the max width to be 100% as well. And that's going to increase. There we go. So that's given us the three modules here. As you can see, what we've got is our white line vertically on this already. So I'm going to show you how to set that. So we go into each of the modules. We're going to go to design, and we're going to go to spacing. And all we do is we set the margin to be 1 pixel all the way around, and we're also using padding inside, so that gives you the margin here at the top, bottom. Basically it creates a 10 pixel margin all the way around on the inside. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It creates 10 pixel padding, which is on the inside of the module, whereas the margin is on the outside of the module. So you want to duplicate that on all of your modules. So again, we're going to go down to sizing. We leave all the standards, we haven't touched that at all. We're going to go into our spacing, we're going to set 1 pixel for the margin all the way around the modules, and then we're going to select our padding of 10 pixels all the way around. We're going to duplicate that on all three of them, which we've done here. Now the next thing that we want to do is we are going to go and we're going to actually tell the module that we want to animate it. So we go into our module settings, back into design, scroll all the way down into our animation, and the effect that I've used was zoom. Now, so we select that. What I've done here is to simulate the lazy loading effect one after the other from left to right. I've brought in and used an animation delay. So on our first image, or our first module, I've set that to 250 milliseconds. I'm going to go to our second module, and again we'll just go through the spacing, 1 pixel all the way around, 10 pixels of padding. We go into our animation, we're going to select zoom again, only this time we're going to give the animation delay 500 milliseconds. So each of the modules gets a 250 millisecond addition for delay. Then we're going to go into our third module. Again, we go into our design, we go into our spacing, we set the margin to be 1 pixel, and we set our padding to be 10 pixels. We then go to our animation, we select zoom, we leave all the animation settings as default apart from the animation delay, and again on this third one I've increased it to 750 milliseconds. So that'll be the last one that loads. So once we've done that, the next thing that we want to do is we want to duplicate this row. So we're going to say duplicate row, and what we want to do is we now want to go into the row settings because we want these two to be together. So what we need to do is we need to go and edit, design, and we want to go into spacing, and for this row, which is the top one, we want the bottom padding to be 0, and we want the top margin to be 0. And that's it for that setting. Now on the second row down, we want to do the exact opposite. So we're going to go into design, we're going to go into spacing, and we want to set the top margin to be 0 and the top padding to be 0 as well. Okay, what that then gives us is the nice grid, because each of these modules has got 1 pixel of padding all the way around it. So the next thing you want to do is we're going to set the minimum height via CSS, and we're going to equalize the row height as well. So if we go into each of the row heights, we're going to go into sizing. We want to make sure that equalize column heights is set to yes. So that's the first one, and the second one again, equalize column heights is set to yes. Also you want to give it a class, so in this instance we've got test page blurb height, and on both of the rows again test page blurb height. Now if we go to our CSS, you can see here that we're specifying that the minimum height for the blurb module is 420 pixels. Now this is important that you play with this and adjust it based on your content. Obviously the more content you've got in terms of wording, then that may well mess up the layout. So what you want to do is, once you've set your settings in the CSS, come back, refresh the page, and then you want to scroll to the area that you're interested in and make sure that your module heights all stay the same, so it keeps the layout nice and neat. So that's that bit. The next thing is we need to recap. So what we've done is we've extended the row, we've set the blurb minimum height via CSS by giving it a class on the row, and we've also told the row to specify the equalize column heights within the row. Then what we've done is in each of the modules we've gone in and we've set the spacing, so we've given it a 1 pixel margin and we've given it 10 pixels of padding. Obviously if you're creating the margin, all that happens is it will pick up the color of your background. So if you've got a black background, the lines will appear in black here. So all you're doing is basically you're telling them to create a gap in between them. So once that's done, we then have given it a class and specified the CSS, and then in each of the modules we've given it some animation, the animation being the zoom, and then we've also set the animation delay from the left to right being 250, 500 and 750 milliseconds, and that gives it the lazy load effect. So if you want to have another final look at it, we can go here, put that in first of all, and then it will appear when we scroll down. So that's the effects. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and it'd be great if you can subscribe to the channel, because keeps us motivated to producing lots more content. And if you've got any questions, leave us a comment below and we'll get them answered. Just like to take this opportunity to say thanks for watching.